Harvey's Hot Takes with Bryan Hayes. Great to see you, Bryan. And Auston Matthews is not going to be in the lineup on Wednesday night against the Las Vegas Golden Knights, his 7th missed game. He hasn't been on the ice in over a week. Here's what his head coach, Craig Berube, had to say on Monday.
I think it's a little bit of a holding pattern, but he's not getting worse. So that's a good thing. It just takes time. It's just taking time. It's taking long. But it is what it is, and he's doing what he needs to do to get back in the lineup and get healthy. And our team needs to just push on without him right now.
All right, that was a whole lot of nothing. What do you make of the situation, Bryan, the secrecy surrounding this Auston Matthews injury?
Well, I blame the league, Jay. I don't blame the Leafs. The Leafs are doing exactly what they're allowed to do, which is be cloaked in secrecy and not give any information. I mean, Auston Matthews is the most popular player in the biggest hockey market in the world, and he's been day-to-day for weeks. And now he's not skating for a week, like you just stated, and he's not going to play for at least another week. So all of this secrecy, all of this upper body, lower body kind of jargon that's been around this game for decades now is because the league allows it. And from my standpoint, I have no idea why they do this and why they're so backwards and why they're so behind the times when you consider the way the NFL operates. Very physical sport. Very physical sport. The way the NBA, Major League Baseball, operates. It's not like anyone is demanding every possible detail, but some sort of detail. This is the entertainment business. These are fans, also known as customers. They want to know when they buy tickets, who's playing, what is the likelihood if they're playing. Also, there's a gambling component to this, and I know a lot of people shake their head at that, but it's a valid criticism, and it's a valid point, in my opinion, because everyone is benefiting from the gambling world. That means they're making money off this. They're generating revenue, and I'm talking about the league here. So people want to know what's going on when it comes to betting on games, when it comes to betting on futures, who's going to win the Rocket, who's going to win the Hearts. You have no idea what's going on with Auston Matthews, and fans want to know. They just want to know what's going on with this guy, and you have no idea. And again, I don't blame the teams because the teams are allowed to get away with it. This happens all the time, and it's not only when it comes to injuries. We still live in an era where you don't know who's going to start in net that night, Jay. How often do coaches around the league say, you can find out when puck drops, as if it's some crazy secret that they have to have that no one else could have, and it's some huge benefit against whatever opponent they're playing that night, and the opponent's doing the same thing for some ridiculous reason. The league needs to step in here. I don't blame the coaches. I don't blame the GMs. They are hyper-focused on their team and winning. They don't care about the fans and the customers. They're not paid to care about the fans and the customers. The owners are, and the commissioner is. They should be stepping in here and saying, you've got to give updates. You've got to give information. People want to know what's up with the injury and be truthful. How long could they possibly be out for? Who's starting in net? All this kind of stuff. I could go on for hours about this. Review, goalie interference, offside. That's all the GMs and the coaches fighting for that stuff. I think it goes against what fans really want and the benefit of the entertainment value of the sport. So I'm calling on the owners and the commissioner to step up here. Don't let the GMs and the coaches run your show, because this is the kind of goofy behavior that we get all the time, and a complete lack of transparency and a complete lack of information when, again, this is Matthews, but applies to every team and every player. But he is the most popular player, the captain on the most popular team on earth, and no one has a clue what's going on. To me, that's backwards, and it shouldn't be that way. Follow the lead of the NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, get with the times, NHL, and start being more transparent.
Boy, I don't know if I've ever agreed with you more on one of your hot takes, Hazy B. This is a terrific start. Let's keep it going. Jets host the Panthers on TSN Tuesday. On Saturday, the Jets were beaten badly by the Panthers in Florida. They lost to Tampa last Thursday. They've now lost 2 straight. So as we get set for Tuesday night's game, 6:30 local time, I ask you this. How important is Tuesday's game for the Winnipeg Jets?
I think it's very important. Listen, they just went through Florida, Jay, and it was ugly. Tampa got them. Florida beat them 5-0, and that game got ugly at the end of the game. I think the Panthers are rolling through town. These are the Cup champs. They're only going to be in Winnipeg this one night, unless you see them in the Cup final. And I know Jet fans are really starting to feel good about that option and that opportunity in the future. But statement games come along every once in a while. You can't make everything bigger than it is. You can't pump the tires of every possible matchup. But this one, I think it is justified because of what we just saw over the weekend, where, again, Florida really laid a beating on the Jets. And, again, it got ugly at the end of the game. I think the emotions will carry over. The Winnipeg Jets have not been used to losing this year. Prior to going to Florida, they had only lost once. Now they've lost twice in a row by an aggregate score of 9-1. So I think it's time to get back on the saddle. Good teams find a way to beat the best teams in the league, like the Florida Panthers. And the Cup champs are in town. I think it should be an electric vibe in that building. Winnipeg's got a really difficult schedule coming up, a lot of road games coming up. So I think you take advantage of this. And if I'm the Jets, if I'm Scott Arniel, I'm on my team. And I'm saying, let's put our best together here and let's send a message to the Panthers and the rest of the league. We're not going to fall back down to earth. 15 wins in their first 16 games. Don't go on a 3-game losing streak after that. Don't allow people to start doubting you. Don't allow your own team to start doubting themselves. Get back on the saddle. Make it out to be what it is, a big platform game. Go out there, beat the Panthers, get your fans fired up again, and get the winning streak rolling and the good times rolling again. And I feel good about the Jets doing that tomorrow night.
To the NFL, we wrap up there, and you saw it. The Detroit Lions absolutely destroyed the Jacksonville Jaguars on Sunday. And wouldn't you know it, Brian, the Lions, according to our friends at FanDuel, are now the Super Bowl favorite. Thanks to that win over the Jags, the Chiefs lost to the Bills. So I ask you, are you fully buying, Bryan Hayes, that the Detroit Lions can bury 94 years of miserable history and finally win the Super Bowl this season?
I am, Jay. I am a believer. And I think those odds speak to how big of a gap it is between the Lions and the second best team in the NFC. And it might be the Eagles, like you just saw with those odds. It might be the Packers. Maybe it's the Vikings. But you look at the AFC, I think you're looking at the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, the Steelers. Those are 4 legit teams, really good teams. You look at the way Jim Harbaugh's got those Chargers playing.
Yes.
I guess what I'm getting to is I think it's really going to be difficult to get out of the AFC, where I think the Lions are going to set themselves up very well to get out of the NFC. So once you get to the dance, if you get to the Super Bowl, clearly you got a chance to win it. And I think they end up with that first seed. I think they end up with a bye in the first round of the NFC, and they're going to play all their home games at Ford Field. That's a controlled environment, and this offense is so electric. It's so deep. You take the elements out of it where they don't have to play on the road. They don't have to play outside. They don't have to worry about snow or cold or ice or rain or whatever. That is a huge benefit. And I've said this to you before on your show. I have pulled a 180 on Dan Campbell. When he arrived in Detroit, I was very skeptical. I thought a lot of his routine was goofy, quite frankly. I thought it was going to flame out. I didn't think it was going to work. He's built a great staff there. They all believe in the message that Dan Campbell is sending. Jared Goff has been to a Super Bowl before with the Rams. Yeah, I'm a believer. I really am a believer that this Lions team can get all the way to the dance and they can win it. And I wouldn't be shocked if we saw the Lions against the Bills. And I have no idea who I'd be rooting for because I love both those cities. They're both blue-collar towns. Both teams have not won anything when it comes to the Super Bowl. And the idea of one of those two fan bases winning and the elation that would come with it, the parade that would come with it, but then the heartbreak on the other side, man, that would be crushing. But to answer your original question, I can't believe I'm saying this because I've been goofing on the Lions my whole life. But they deserve respect, and they are for real. They absolutely can win a Super Bowl.
Okay, Brian, we're going to end this show on a fun little segment here. It's a popular news segment we have on the program. From the desk of our longtime viewer, Gerald Andrew Crook. He's a retired oil worker from my home province of Alberta, and he says, I find myself agreeing with the Overdrive guys. Great show. Now, you say Bryan Hayes has been doing hot takes since 83. He was born in 83. So I'm thinking no gray hair for a 60-year-old. He's 41, just a pup, but very thumbs up. Brian, I guess he finally figured out that I was kind of fooling everyone there.
Yeah, I think Jerry Crook is on to us here, but I appreciate the support. We love it. Anytime you can throw a thumbs up emoji on Twitter, it's always going to get a retweet from me. I got to go find that tweet. I'll make sure to retweet it.
He would appreciate that. I know he would appreciate that. I know we appreciate Harvey's, who's going to join us as a sponsor for another year. We're very excited about that. They've been serving up delicious burgers for 65 years. And yes, Bryan Hayes was born in '83, but he's practically been delivering the hot takes from the womb. Thanks, Bryan.
Hot Takes is presented by Harvey's. Customize your burger and get it delivered from our app to your door. Harvey's, it's a beautiful thing.